Alright, look, I got my braces off. Look at that. Pearly the whites. I had my braces on for like 6 years or something. And since I was in like 5th grade. So way too long. But that's okay. Because they're off now and my teeth look pretty good. That's not what I wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about ego. It's a big, scary word for a lot of people. It's like a negative thing for many people. They're like, oh, he's got a big ego. He's very egotistical, this and that. He should be more humble, whatever. But all ego really is like yourself, your sense of self. Whether that's super confident or not is something that's kind of a case by case thing. But ego is just like yourself, who you are. And if you're confident, and there's a positive and a negative, in my mind at least, there's a positive and a negative side to it. There's the positive, which is you're sure of yourself, you're self-confident, you have faith in yourself. And that's a good way of living, of just being sure of yourself and not really worrying like, will everybody like me for this? Will this happen? But there's people who have a negative ego, which is the kind of, I'm better than you, everybody's gonna love me. If they don't, I'm gonna have a freak out. Or it's gonna be someone else's problem, not just mine. And those people kind of suck to deal with, especially if you're trying to do something for yourself, do something big for yourself. Like I want to be famous, right? That's my goal. Is to be famous for my music and to make something out of it. But I don't want to be that guy who people can look at and be like, wow, he's kind of just so super, like way too full of himself and way too self-absorbed. That's not what I want. I never want to put myself in a position where I can look down on somebody. I understand that you have to be a little bit selfish to be successful. No amount of success ever came with being completely selfless. But that's only to a point. You know what I mean? Like, let's say you got a producer. You've been working with him for years. All of a sudden, you start to see a little bit, and maybe he's not just your producer, Doesn't matter who he is, whatever. But you've been working with him for a couple of years now, and all of a sudden, you start to gain a little fame. You've been putting in the work, you've been, trying to seek results and failing and trying again. All of a sudden, now you got some people beneath you to, as a fan base, as supporters. Well, what do? I feel like most people would try to credit and to, make sure others know who helped them and who helped make them who they were, and like who kind of gave them original support before they had other people and dedicated fans and things like that, before they had like a group who could defend them. But a lot of times people don't do that, and it sucks, especially if you're the guy who is helping out. You've seen this isn't directed at anybody. I should make that pretty clear. This is all just, things I was thinking about. But, I feel like no matter what level you are of successful or where you sit on the totem pole, you should be kind of always looking back a little bit and helping out whoever may need it. if you're the one who finds success first, you should kind of help in aiding the next person's success, especially if you said, like, we're all gonna kind of do this together. It's gonna be a group effort. It's gonna be a partner effort. You don't want the other person to become like against you or bitter or whatever. You want to kind of, they may find different success than you, different fans, different people, different community, but you don't ever want to be the type to leave someone in the dust and be like, well, figure it out, bud, because maybe they don't have the what you had, which was kind of like a day one supporter and someone who would push you to the levels that you wanted to get to, and like push you to try to do better and to grow. But like I said, this isn't directed at anybody, but just something to think about, because it's important to keep yourself in that kind of positive section of the ego, where you're sure of yourself and where you're confident, but also grounded enough to be able to look back and say, like, oh, I see, something that I was trying that didn't work out. Let me show you, a way you can do it to reach your goal and to become as successful as you want to be. That's really it. Just some stuff I was thinking about. All right, bye.